How to find the perfect house in Prosper. That is exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to look at the real estate prices in Prosper, and we're going to look at several different homes, real estate homes, several homes, and really analyze what the mortgage is going to look like. We're going to look at things to consider when it comes to HOAs. We're going to look for sure at property taxes and how they impact you year over year over year. So we're going to get into all of that. Hey, welcome back, Eli. Thanks for being here. Sorry, I'm a little bit late today, but we are here. We're making it happen, making dreams come true. So let's get into Prosper. This is one of my favorite cities because it's, there's so many good things about Prosper you're going to see here shortly. But at the end of the day, what we're doing here today is we are looking for that perfect home. We're going to go through various scenarios to really find that ideal home in Prosper. Again, we're going to go into real estate, property taxes, HOAs, monthly mortgage payments, going into several different options when it comes to loans and everything in between. So just like every home search starts, it seems that way. Just like every home search starts, we're going to start off in the online portals. Now, if you have Zillows, okay, that's fine. If you're using Trulia, if you're using Realtor.com, whatever online portal you're using, that's okay, that's fine. But if you want to use one that's directly tied into the MLS and gives you real-time information that is updated and accurate, you can absolutely use mine. It is Jaime Resendiz.exprealty.com. This directly tied into the MLS, so that way you don't run into roadblocks when you're thinking a home is available for sale and it had been sold weeks ago, which is common in several online portals out there. So with that being said, let's start looking at Prosper and see what opportunities we have. So right out of the gate, we see something interesting. We see that there's 354 homes available for sale in Prosper, but we also see that the median sales price here is over $1 million. Now, this does include all types of real estate. So this includes commercial, this includes land. So what we're going to do is we're going to exclude all of those different type of real estate. And we're going to only leave single family residences because that's what we're going to go through today. Again, what we're looking to do is find that perfect house for sale in Prosper. And we're going to do that by only searching for single family residences. All right, so we're at the land of the rectangle, as you can see here. It is this shape always gets me. I don't know why, but you have a straight rectangle. You have Frontier Parkway up here, marking the northern part of Prosper, and then you have the southern part, 380 down here, marking the southern part of Prosper. So let's start talking about one of the three things that we look for whenever we are narrowing down the community, the city, the area that we're looking to move into. So the first thing right out of the gate is your commute. What do you want your commute to look like? What does that need to be? So if you are working in McKinney as an example, well, how close do you want to be to McKinney? Do you want to be within McKinney itself? If you work in Prosper, do you want to work and live in Prosper? Is that something that you want to do? Or if you live in Dallas, work in Dallas, would you make sense of living in Prosper and going down Dallas North Tollway every single day? So again, a lot of it has to do with your commute. So the first thing that we have a conversation around when we do discovery calls with our clients is, what does the commute need to look like? Are you going into the office? Are you going into the work area every single day? Or are you doing a couple of days a week and then working remote the others? It's a big consideration, because when you're talking about traffic in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, you're spending, regardless of where you go, you're spending about 30 minutes one way, regardless of where you go, most of the time, right? So that's something that we really need to take into consideration. So number one, what does our commute need to look like? The second thing that we take into consideration when we're looking for an area, for a city, and for just where we're going to live is, what does our lifestyle look like? What does it need to be? Do I need my parks? Do I need my restaurants so I can go out every night and eat at a different restaurant? Do I need a strong entertainment scene so I can just go down the street and be entertained, whatever that might look like for you? These are questions that you need to be asking yourself and putting your cities that you're considering through that filter to see if it makes sense. So again, number one, what does my commute look like? If I lived here, would I be able to tolerate the commute every single day? So that's number one. Number two is, does it have what I need? Does it have the parks that I need? Does it have the hiking trails that I need? Does it have the entertainment scene that I love? If I'm going out to the club every single night, does it have enough clubs to keep me entertained? Whatever your lifestyle is, that is the second thing to consider. And the third, which some people argue is the most important, but I don't necessarily see it that way. However, the third is your budget. What budget do you have, right? So there's that, the commute, that's one thing. The lifestyle, that's another thing. But the budget, that's something that we also need to consider, given that, as you saw there, and the average price point for Prosper is over $1 million. While that's not entirely accurate, it's going to be pretty close. It's going to be pretty close, given the fact that in that original number that you saw at the beginning, it included commercial, it included larger properties or more expensive properties. So here we're only looking at residential properties. But at the end of the day, what you see here is the real life information of what's up for sale, right? How did I do that? What's up for sale right now in the city of Prosper. To give you an idea, when it comes to pricing, this is right around the same price. Right around the same ballpark or the same range of pricing with Frisco. So in Frisco, we did a live stream on Frisco earlier. The lowest priced property in Frisco was about $350,000, except there is more options under the $400,000 mark. Here you only have three. So again, these are three properties that are under $400,000 in Prosper. And although they are the lowest priced properties in Prosper, they're still pretty good. They're still pretty good, where these are not investor specials as you would typically see with other homes in other markets, right? So typically the lowest priced properties in an area, they are going to be investor specials where they're sold as is, where they're essentially fixer upper properties. Here you have three homes under $400,000, and you have altogether you have 7 homes under $500,000. So you can see how the pricing gets a little bit ahead of us very, very quickly. So yes, Prosper is one of the more expensive areas in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. So the budget is of course super important, given that, let's see how many now. You have 8, 10, 11 homes. Only 11 homes of the 250 homes available, only 11 homes are under $600,000. Think about that for a second. That's quite a bit. When you're looking at comparing it to other cities, South Lakes, very similar stats. Highland Park's even higher stats than this in terms of you're not going to find a home for $500,000 in Highland Park. That just does not exist. So Prosper is one of the more expensive areas. It's one of the you're gonna have some incredible luxury real estate. Don't mishear me, but you're also gonna be paying for it. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I love Prosper. We work with plenty of folks from Prosper. We're there constantly, so it's not no shade at all. I love Prosper. Nothing wrong with Prosper, but understand again, the budget is a big thing. So number one, what does our community to look like? Number two, what does our lifestyle need to be? And then also the budget. That's the third thing that we're going to keep into consideration. Now, for just wondering eyes, for curious minds out there, we're going to go to the most expensive before we actually drill down towards the middle of the search here and look at a property in real time. We're going to go through the pictures. We're going to look at the upgrades or lack thereof in certain homes, and we're going to go through the numbers, some information that would be valuable as you're finding that dream home. There's some numbers or some details that we often overlook, that either we don't know to look at them or we just overlook them for whatever reason. But again, for those curious minds just like mine, we're going to see what the most expensive homes in Prosper look like, because why not? The most expensive home for sale right now in the city of Prosper is $3,200,000. What a beautiful property. At 700,000 square feet. You know what? We're just gonna have to check it out for a quick second. Let's dream for a minute. How about that? Let's do a little bit of dreaming. Wow. Look at that yard. Look at that yard. Waterfront. Waterfront to, oh, is there a lake up front? Oh no, it has its own pool. Oh, not pool. It has its own lake. And is that a tennis court back there? What a beast of a house. How beautiful. Look at that. Plantation shutters. You have stonework all the way through. You have a fantastic island of huge high ceilings. Incredible kitchen. Stainless steel appliances. High-end appliances. Incredible finishes. That refrigerator. That's a beast of a refrigerator. Stonework all around your breakfast nook. Wow. Check that out. Your primary bed with your fireplace. Who wouldn't want that? Plenty of light. Plenty of light. What are those? Are these like changing rooms? What are those? Is there a shower back there? Looks like a spa back there. Oh, okay, yeah, it is. It is a shower back here. That's crazy. You have like little like mud rooms over here. It looks more like a locker room. That's cool. Ooh, this is proper. Makes you want to do laundry now. An entire laundry room. Now this is a proper laundry room. What a beast. You have a little wine cellar. A little hydration station, I suppose. Your wet bar. And there looks like an entertainment area over there. Yeah, you can entertain here for days. It's over 7,000 square feet. You have your theater room. Cool. All right, enough daydreaming. Well, let's get to the back. Let's get to the end. Let's see what the backyard looks like. So you probably put a gym down here. I think that's what it was used for, a gym. So many rooms that I don't even know what they do. All right, so cover. Ooh, I like this. I like this a lot. You have a covered patio through and through. Get to enjoy the night. And is this the same one? Just without? Yeah, it's the same one without furniture. Of course, you have your grill, water, fountain, pool, and your tennis/basketball court. Is that a falcon? And then that, so I guess whoever lived there was an Atlanta Falcon, based off of what I see there. All right, so let's hop into the search. Let's actually purchase a property. Let's go through here and find a property that we want to do some numbers with. We want to break them down. I like this because there's a lot of green. There's a ton of landscaping over here. So that is probably an older home, which would not be a bad thing if we did that breakdown. Let's do this home. I like it. It's got a lot of green. You got the aerial view. Let's see what we got. All right, so we're going to go and analyze this property here in Prosper. And what we're going to do is going back to your, again, whatever online portal you choose to use, that's okay. That's fine. I'm not going to force you to use our internal one. That is okay. But let's see here. So we're going to go over here to Zillow because their rendering of the images are just that much better. I just got to pay them their dues. There's a reason that they spend millions and millions of dollars on their UX because it works. All right, so this is a property that we're going to do our numbers around. I don't remember what it was priced at, $974. So let's go through. More stone than brick, which I'm not mad at. Now, typically these, I'm not a big fan. I'll be honest. I'm not a big fan of these, the spiked, just very steep, and it's not even an aesthetics thing, and it has no bearing to my day-to-day life. But the reason that I'm not a big fan of these particular style roofs is because I think about the roofers that had to install that. And for some reason, it just makes me think about that. And I don't appreciate those types of roofs. Just being completely open with you there. Again, has nothing, it's never going to affect me unless I become a roofer at some point in time, which I don't foresee happening. But that's my thing. It's not even a looks thing. I think it looks fine. I think it looks well. But for me, my mind immediately goes to the people that have to put the roofs on, and also the people who have to replace them. Props. Shout out. All right. So I do like the garage doors. Those are awesome. Now, those are going to be heavier doors, so just be mindful of that. These are not going to be traditional garage doors that you could just get anybody to work on, or just have a traditional mortar that takes care of the up and down. As far as maintained property, especially in this summer, which I believe this was recently listed, either they're doing some AI to this grass, or they have an incredibly high water bill because it is clean. The landscaping and the outside is just on point. Now, why am I drawing attention to that? I'm not shaming or praising just for the sake of doing that. The reason I bring these points up is because there's a lot of context clues that you get in as you're coming into the house, right? So if all the shrubs were dead, or if the yard was a little bit less than maintained, that gives you an idea of the type of maintenance. It's not always, but it gives you a general idea of the type of maintenance that you get with the inside of the property, right? So if you're this meticulous with the outside, chances are you're going to be pretty meticulous with the inside and replacing the filters to your HVAC unit. Addressing water heater issues whenever they come up, addressing things within the inside that could ultimately, once you purchase the property, become big issues because lack of maintenance was because there was lack of maintenance on the part of the previous homeowner. Again, these are just, I'm making some assumptions, but keep in mind that these assumptions in some cases will save you thousands of dollars, but also in most cases, you're going into a property to look at these properties and only spending, sorry, my camera was off, only spending 30 to 40 minutes looking at a property before you have to make a decision to offer $970,000. Right? So you need time that you can get close up to your real estate or your future home. Look for these things, look for these context clues, because they say a lot, whether we want to or not. And that's exactly the exact same thing that I'm telling you from the buying side right now is the exact same thing that I tell from to my sellers on the listing side. These are things that we need to be aware of. All right. Look at that. I just like that kitchen. Now, for some of us, I can already tell it's going to be way too open. I can already anticipate the comment section. So it is a bit linear. It is a little bit, there's more of a lateral kitchen that a lot of folks aren't used to seeing. Again, just straight up calling it like I usually hear it. But for my taste, I like the openness. I like the fact that you have all of the appliances up to the wall, and I'm okay with not having corners, if you will. And I don't know whoever lived here was an interior designer through and through, because this is good. You have doors that open pretty wide. You have really a ton of windows, a ton of space for light. So incredible layout so far. You have your first room. Now, I do call this out in the live streams quite a bit. The carpet is not for everybody. I equate it to hospital carpet. I know it's not the most glamorous way to call it, and I know there's a technical word for this type of carpet, but I like this type of carpet that generally isn't as shaggy. In my opinion, it's easier to clean, it's easier to maintain, and it looks better, as opposed to and I keep looking down because I have shaggier carpets. Not the shaggiest, but I do prefer this type of carpet. And whenever I do redo the house, I will be getting this type of carpet just because I think it looks cleaner. You have the entryway. You have a higher entrance than you would typically see, so that Chandelier helps out a bit. Is that St. Michael the Archangel right there? Let me know in the chat. Is that St. Michael the Archangel? Or it looks that way. Shout out. Defend us in battle. All right, so this is the entrance as you're coming through. On the right hand side, you're going to see the office. And over here, I'm going to guess you're going to have 2 bedrooms. And on the right hand side over here, kind of towards the corner, I'm going to guess there's 2 things. One is going to be laundry, and 2 is going to be your garage, because I think I saw it from the right hand side. And your primary somewhere back there. Again, I'm watching this for the first time, but I've seen enough houses, thousands of houses at this point, so I can kind of anticipate the floor plans. I do like the hardwood floors that are hand scraped, so let's keep it going. All right. You have your gym. Now, I feel like this was probably more set up for a home theater that was converted into a gym, or it could be just straight up a gym. You have your plates here, so you could either do some additional lighting or put in a surround sound system, but they take their workout seriously. And yep, so I can already tell that was St. Michael the Archangel. Shout out. I already like this family already. Cool. What was this, the living room? No, this is not the living room. This is more like a, this would be off to the left, I think. You have your first bathroom, so you have a full bath. I don't remember. We didn't look at the details. We'll look at that after we look at this house. So we have a room that was converted into an office, because I don't believe this was actually the office. All right. Yeah, that was designed more to be either an office or designed to be a workout room, but this was not the entertainment room that I thought it probably was. What a good looking home, right? Now the pictures I am gonna go ahead and say it, are a little bit out of order for me, because we typically go from the front, go into as you would normally see a property whenever we upload pictures. So them being a little bit out of order. Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. Them being a little bit out of order is okay. I'm being nitpicky. Obviously, this property is beautiful. Clearly, it's beautiful. You have recessed lighting over here. You have a billion lights, so you have plenty of light, not just from the windows, but also a ton of light bulbs. So if you owned a light bulb manufacturer, you would do very well with your own home right here, because there's a lot of light bulbs to replace. And you have a higher ceiling. So again, this property is beautiful. Now we're gonna go a little bit quicker. Now see this picture, I'm used to being more at the front end, not in the middle of our tour. Now again, I'm being super picky. The property is obviously beautiful, but there's a method to the madness sometimes, and sometimes we miss the method and go straight to madness. Beautiful kitchen. There we go. So that's what, again, this, as far as complaints, that's what you're going to see. It feels a little bit odd. This is not me. I'm just giving you commentary from the clients when we tour them. It feels a little bit odd to have the sink here and then nothing back there, which you would typically see a range, but over here you see the range off to the side. In your properties, this is not abnormal. This is a unique design. If you compare it to more, let's call them older homes. So just calling that out, some people do have an issue with that. Just for that alone, it would be nixed out. And everybody's preference is different, right? So there's tons of designs, there's tons of builders, tons of new homes, or tons of old homes, and everyone has their own preference and right to it. You have your laundry room. I like it, nice and clean. You have your tile down there, plenty of space. You have, I don't know if this is a full, but it feels more like a half bath. They must have been designers, because these are way too good. These are way too clean. You have the oranges out there. You have the yellows out there. You have some blues in here. You even matched it up with what appears to be the Lady of Fatima. I'm gonna go see this house just because I want to meet the family. Very, very good designs. It's a large room. This is not even the primary bedroom, believe it or not. You have a large room here. Oh, it was a primary bedroom. Huh. It just makes the queen bed look small. It was the primary bed. That is so cool. Check out this primary bath, huh? How about that? I mean, at some point there's just no words. I'm just gonna click through and let y'all appreciate them. You have the standing shower. You have the incredible tub. I have not seen a design like this. This well put together. Is that a green belt? I think it backs up into a green belt, meaning there's no homes back here. That looks to be a trail. It looks to be like a trail over here and or a golf course, but no, it wouldn't be a golf course because you would have the fairway a little bit. Yeah, this is a trail back here. It might be backing up to a green belt. You have fully fenced in area. Back here, you're gonna not have the like the privacy fence aspect, but again, very well maintained. Yeah, there's a trail back here. So it is a green belt. You're in the cul-de-sac. So you have generally, this looks to be 1/3 of an acre. Very nice. You know what's funny is that half of this, this is just me being picky, but you could tell like this is the TikTok family type of a deal, like TikTok landscaping, where you have one neighbor, because they don't want to see that divide and make it look a little bit weird, they go ahead and take care of the neighbor's yard. So it looks like it's theirs as well, but it's obviously not. So their property line would be right here through the meter, through the fence, but because they don't want to see the little break and keep it a little bit more cohesive, they go ahead and do the neighbor's half of their yard. So shout out neighbors. Wow. Yeah, I mean, look at the difference. Beautiful. And then you get to see the rest of the neighbors. So you have pool, 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 pool. This one doesn't have a pool, but you know, my very first home, I had a pool, and I went in it maybe 3 times ever. So having a pool, it's not always as cracked up as it's not as cool as a lot of people think it is. It's best to be friends with somebody who has a pool, so you don't have to pay the maintenance on it or the pool prices. All right, so with that being said, we spent a little bit more time than I would care for. We're gonna have to breeze through a few numbers, but that property was just too good. So let's look at some key information. This is in Collin County, so we're gonna need that for property taxes. Prosper, we already knew we were searching in Prosper. Year built 2019, so it is 2024, 5 years after the fact. Right now, everything's still humming. Everything is still pretty good. The worst thing that could happen from this particular property would be you might see some nail pops here and there in the in the ceilings or in the walls because of some movement or some settling. But whenever you buy new homes, you get a 1, 2, and 10-year warranty. 1 year is basically a bumper to bumper, front door to back door type of a deal, where if there's nail pops, which is not uncommon with new construction because of the way that these are built and they've been exposed to the elements. So when they actually seal them up, used to have a lot of wood, a lot of lumber that still needs to be dried, because at some point, if it rained, it got a lot of humidity in there. So it's not uncommon for, as that drying process happens or some movement in the foundation, that you start seeing some walls the walls are fine, but you start seeing some sheetrock kind of separate a little bit, and you have some nail pops. That's what nail pops are. With that being said, again, you usually see those within the first year. So when that first year is up, you can have the builder come back out there and basically repaint them, and you'll fix them and everything looks good. With new construction, that's not uncommon. So again, here, it being a 5-year-old property, it's got room to run. There's really not too much that you would probably need to address, at least in the immediate 5 to 10 years. Well, I shouldn't say 10 years. Like in the next 5 years, you're going to be pretty good. Taxes, Don't get married to this number because we need to factor in the actual property taxes that you're going to incur. This is the property taxes from the assessed value that stands today, and also the homeowner that owns this property today, because the homeowner may have some special home exemptions that you might not qualify for. So simply because they give us a tax number, we appreciate it, we acknowledge it, but we will not accept it as ours because we know that that's not going to be ours. So just make mental note of that because we're going to come back to it. Property price $974. It's a 3-bed, 2 and so technically when you see it in the MLS, it's going to say 3-bath, but basically it's 2 full bath and 2 half baths. That's the way to see it, or that's the way it is. Almost 3,500 square feet, and I undershot it from a lot size. I said it was a third of an acre, but it's 0.45. That is ultra rare. So 0.45 acres, almost half an acre. Well, I shouldn't say ultra. In Prosper, that's about right. I say ultra rare if it was like in Plano. That would be ultra rare there. Prosper, it's on brand. Okay, so heating, cooling, utilities, possession, roof, appliances, all that's going to be the same. Easements, very rarely does something come up in easements, but it's worth a look. Either way, you will catch this, or you should catch this before you're closing on the property. But the title company, even if you get to the last day and you're at the title company, they'll let you know of some easements, and that's typically it's non-factor easements where they'll let you know that the utility company has an easement on the backside of your backyard, so don't build a shed back there, because in the event that they need to get access to it, they have the right to destroy your shed and not pay you back for it. That's the when it comes to easements, that would be the most common, but even then, that's not going to be too big of a deal. Association fees, $725. I am going to assume this is kind of a tweener for me. It's fine at $725 per year, but I wouldn't be surprised if this association fee is actually assessed twice a year. So it's a $1,400 association fee. HOA is what this is. I'm gonna leave it at it's gonna be a year. We'll see. Number of garage spaces. So you have three garage spaces. Nice. You have Prosper ISD. This is gonna be important for us to look at here shortly. And the rest of the information, yeah, so it's annually, so $725 annually. Okay. All right, so the rest of the information is not going to be too important for us. Anything else that we need to call out? No. All right, so let's do some math. Let's look at some different scenarios. Let's go ahead and try to purchase this property as we go through here. All right, I usually go with estimates, but today we're actually going to go with exact amounts today. So if you don't know the exact amounts, that's okay. You're going to see exactly how to get to the exact amounts. But if you feel a little bit uneasy of going with, actual numbers and have a hard time trusting your calculator, that's okay. I completely empathize. So feel free to go to estimates. This tool is linked down below as well, so you could leverage it, or just go directly to winthehouseyoulove.com, which is going to give you access to this tool. This is a tool that was created by Kyle Seagraves, who operates and owns the channel Win the House You Love here on YouTube, so go check them out. All right, the purchase price that we have on this particular property is $974. That is what we're going to offer for this property. $974. That's the purchase price. Monthly tax that we have on this is very important. The monthly tax is going to be, we're going to go over here to property tax rate for, no, let's do this. Prosper, Texas property tax rate. We're going to actually find the tax rate directly from them. All right, so is this their actual website? Okay, this appears to be this might be their website, but it doesn't have what we need anyway, so we're going to back out. What we're looking for is the exact property tax rate. total, call-in, city, ISD. These three categories are determined added together. However, if you're in local county, you will be community college. Okay, so this is around the same. This is not far off, but this is a third-party website, so I also don't want to take note from somebody that misspells the city name. And that is direct shade. My apologies. So we're not going to take our tax information from them. Let's see if we can find a more accurate. All right, this is going to be hopefully more accurate. prospertexas.gov. All right, so since we're in Collin County, these are the numbers that we are looking at. Now, let's talk about what property taxes we're essentially adding up. When you're when you're buying a property in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, there's three tax numbers, three property tax rates, three property tax figures that you absolutely need to find come heck or high water. However, or instead of however, and potentially there could be other two that come into play depending on the city that you're buying and where you're buying it. So what does that mean? That means the three property tax rates that you have to find in every single city, Prosper no exception, is the city tax rate, the county tax rate, and the ISD tax rate. These three numbers we're going to add together here very shortly. Now, two other numbers that eventually sometimes come up in the city that you're purchasing are the higher education tax. So think of like community colleges, and or a hospital network tax. So think of, if you're in Dallas as an example, Parkland. Those two sometimes come up. So here for the city of Prosper, 4 of the 5 that I just mentioned came up. So you have the city of Prosper, it's right here at the top. You have the county, which is Collin County, where we're buying this property. You have the ISD, which is going to be the largest tax rate across the board in every city. And then for the higher education, which in this case is Collin County. So all that together gives you a tax rate of 2.1865. So what we're going to do is we are going to pretend that the market value of 974 is the assessed value, which is not the case. So essentially what I'm telling you is that your property taxes are going to be lower than the number we figure out today, but I just want to give us a conservative number to work with. So I'm going to multiply 974, which is the market value, assuming we buy it at this rate. I'm going to multiply it times 0.02186,563. And I get property taxes. Are you ready for this? I don't know if I should show y'all. I get property taxes. Keep in mind, these it's gonna be lower than this. I warned you at the beginning. I don't say I didn't warn you. I warned you at the beginning. I said, do not get married to this number because it's gonna be different. So the property tax rate is property taxes is about $21,300. Before you click off and then put don't dislike the video because you don't like property taxes. I don't like them either, so no reason to dislike the video. We can save this. Understand that the purchase price again is the market value. Also understand when it comes to property taxes, there are certain things that you can do to reduce the let me rephrase that. Let me start off with understand that this is the purchase price, this is market value, assuming this is what you paid for it. The assessed value is what the county appraisal district is going to use to charge you taxes on. So the assessed value of this property, here I am trying to save I'm going up to bat for Prosper. I can't believe I'm doing this. The assessed value of this property is most likely less than that. And I mean, I can guarantee you it's less than that. So assessed value is what you're actually going to be charged. You're going to be charged by the county appraisal district. So that's one thing. The difference between market and assessed is something to understand. The second thing to understand is that there are exemptions. So you're going to apply the homestead exemption here, which is going to drop you down. Is going to drop you your, what do you call it? It's going to drop the assessed value even more. So you're saving more in property taxes, right? So again, don't I warned you at the beginning, don't get married to this number. But I'm also saying don't get married to the $21,000. Carl, you have a great way of describing the process. Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you, Carl. Thank you. Shout out Carl. Everybody comment Carl. Shout out Carl. Let's see what the actual assessed value is of this property. Carl, we were having such a good time. What are we doing? F the tax assessments. You're not wrong. What are we doing? Let's keep it PG out here. We're still going after that $5 AdSense money, Carl. What are we doing? It's okay. The good thing is that unlike a lot of my peers, I don't make money off of the AdSense. Or depend on the AdSense. So I can tell you, buy when I would suggest buying and don't buy when I suggest. What happened? Why can't I find it? This isn't calling, right? You're okay. It's fun. It's funny. Why did it not show up? Street number, Dublin. If it doesn't show up, then I'm going to have to... Okay. I have to... There's a... it's too wide. I don't want to dox anybody. Give me a second. Okay. Go. All right, so I don't want to dox anybody. You're funny. All right. So here's what I was talking about. The market value. The county says that this property is valued at this over what what they're marketing the property at. Which right now, that's gonna take me down another rabbit hole. We're already in a rabbit hole that I'm trying to get out of here in a respectable time. So we're going to leave that off to the side on why that's the case. But what's important for me to share with you today is the assessed value that you're seeing here. Remember, the number that we were looking at was this. If we buy it at that price, our property taxes would be like $21,300. However, notice that this is the assessed value that we're going to get charged. This is essentially what the tax rate that I just used, we would be multiplying against. Does that make sense? So we are saving. Let me rephrase that. We're not saving. We're reducing the property taxes to the best of our ability by applying the homestead exemption, by applying any other exemptions that we might have a claim to. So it's not $21,300. Let's see. So let me divide this. So your monthly tax rate is going to be this. Conservatively, and I'm saying conservatively here. So I showed you what it would most likely be, but I just for the sake of clarity and just to go down the conservative route, just to show you some real potential here. This is going to be high. Trust that it's going to be high. The true actual number, if you're going to put me on record, the true actual number would be somewhere along the lines of 17,000 divided by 12 would be about $1,400. Now you may be saying, well, Jaime, why don't you put $1,400? Well, because I don't want to. No, I'm kidding. Because it depends on the assessed value that you ultimately get. Oh, forgive me. Elon taxes I paid last year went up 18% because of the shout out. Monthly insurance. What we're going to do is we're going to multiply for monthly insurance. We're going to multiply 0.075. So what am I doing? Is that right? No, I was about to mess up. To get the monthly insurance premium, this is an estimate. The monthly insurance premium, we use 0.75% times the value of the home. So 0.75%. So that's 0.0075 times 974, which is $7,300. So that's 608. So 608. That's our monthly insurance premium estimate. That's an estimate. And then our HOA, I think we said was $725. Was that right? $725. So we're going to do $725 divided by 12. That's $60. Or we'll do $61 just to round up. All right. So this is the math so far. This is what we project, the monthly and the monthly property taxes and the monthly insurance. And then the HOA, although we did break it down monthly, you're going to be paying this at the beginning of the year, net 30, no way around it. All right, so let's look at different ways to finance this property. If we go down a conventional, at this price point, we're starting to get to a point where we're starting to talk about jumbo loans. When you start looking at larger numbers. But for our purposes today, we're going to be fine, I believe. So we're going to do this. I'm just moving and grooving real quick to get us caught up to where we need to be. So we have three options that we're mapping out. We can buy this property down with 5% down via conventional route. We can buy this property down we can buy this property with an FHA loan at 5% down, or we can buy this property on the conventional 20% down. You can buy these in so many different ways, but I'm just giving you the three most common types of financing that I see with our clients. With the exclusion of cash, because cash also happens quite a bit. But for our purposes today, we're going to go conventional 5, FHA 5, conventional 20. So we're going to map this out the way that I just laid it out. We're going to go with 30 years. And what we're going to do is we're going to go find the interest rate that we have right now. So we're going to go with what is the interest rate for buying a house. And we're going to go to bank rate. Regardless of when you're buying a house, you would just type that into the search and you're going to go and find this. Current interest rates in Texas is 6.46. So that is 6.46, 6.46, 6.46. Now we're applying the same interest rate across the board because I want to compare apples to apples, but also know that it most likely is not going to be the same interest rate, not going to lie to you. But for the sake of our purpose, since I'm not a lender, I don't claim to be one, we're just going through some simple numbers to give you an understanding. When you do have lender quotes in, you can just plug in the numbers as you see them. But just know that the interest rate is going to be different, especially from the conventional 5% versus 20% down. This rate would be lower. But we'll keep going. Points. What are points? Points are where you buy down the interest rate. If you receive a 6.46 interest rate at par value, essentially that's what you get. Yeah, that's what you get assessed. You can buy down that interest rate by buying what's called points. Points will bring this. If you buy 1 point as an example, it would bring this 6.46 down to like 6.2 ish or so, give or take. So it doesn't bring down an entire, what you would think it would be an entire interest point. No. It's not. That's how it works. It'll bring it down almost like a quarter of an interest point, roughly. Points, how much do those cost? You would take 1%. So again, 1% of the loan amount. So if you borrowed $900,000 to buy this property, then 1% of that would be $9,000 to buy down the interest, which is another way of saying you're essentially prepaying interest. Basically is what you've done. And in some cases it works. Not in some cases it works. Like, it works a lot. But in some cases that's it would be to your super advantage to buy down points, especially if you're going to live in that property for a little bit longer than like 3, 4, 5 years, however long it takes for you to make back the money that you're saving when you buy that point. Lender fees, we're not going to include lender fees because they vary all across the board. So the best way that I can advise you to use this tool that is linked down below, and also if you just want to go to winthehouseyoulove.com to get this a loan clarity advisor, that's what this is called. The best way that I can advise you to use this is by getting quotes from Chase, Wells Fargo, Country Mortgage, any lender out there that you're working with, and then plug in their numbers here so you can compare apples to apples. Monthly mortgage insurance. So let's talk about this. We are going to be paying mortgage insurance on this conventional 5% and on this FHA 5%. Why is that the case? Well, since we did not put 20% down on the purchase of this property in Prosper, we are paying what's called mortgage insurance. The reason being is because if we don't have 20% equity ownership in this property, the lender is taking out a insurance policy on you in the event that you default. And they're making you pay for it. What a trade-off. What that means is essentially the lenders are recouping their money a little bit quicker in the event that you default. And it means that it's the cost of money, it's more expensive for you to borrow this money because of that, because you didn't put 20% down. Now, don't mishear me. $200,000 is a hell of a lot of money. If we don't have $200,000 to put down, no shame at all. That's why you have options. You have options of going for an FHA loan, you can go down as 3.5%. That's the minimum. Conventional, you can go down to 3% minimum down payment. But if you are in a position to where you can pay down payment of 20% and want to, it will cost you less to borrow that money to buy this house at the end of the day. So this is the monthly mortgage insurance, which you'll see here shortly. Now, if you want to make extra payments, whether that's in lump sum or extra monthly, you can make that simulation as well. We're not going to do that today because everyone's a little bit different, but know that you have that option with this tool. Now, after 10 years, the amount that you will have saved on this loan, if you would have gone down the 20% route, is $174,000. That is, that's how much it would cost you. Now, for the maturity of that loan, check this out. It would have saved you $348,000 if you would have gone 20% down. But again, not everybody's in a position to do 20% down. Just showing you on paper what that would look like. $200K is easy money. Yeah, it depends on who you are. But yeah, that's funny. So conventional 20% down, you get to see the cost. You get to see the cost of 5% with FHA, 5% with conventional, 20% conventional. You see the cost of money here, and this is the loan breakdown. Now, after 10 years, you'll see that. Let me show you after 30 years. After 30 years, that loan from a conventional 5% down would have cost you $1.2 million. Just the cost. This is not even talking principal. This is the interest part. FHA would have cost you $1.3 million, that property, and from a conventional 20%, it would have cost you $986,000. Again, this is the cost. It's not even the principal. Now, notice one thing real quick. From an FHA perspective, you're paying 1.725. I might be wrong on that. I have to look at my notes. 1.725 of the loan amount as a finance mortgage insurance. Essentially, it's another fee, and no way around it. That's what you would be paying through an FHA loan. Plus, on top of that, you're paying monthly mortgage insurance. Now, you may be thinking, why the heck is the FHA so much higher than the monthly mortgage insurance? Well, because with the conventional loan, once you get past 20% owner equity in that property, the mortgage insurance goes away. With an FHA loan, it never goes away until you finish off paying that loan. So that's why you see a big discrepancy between the mortgage insurance from a conventional loan and an FHA loan. FHA, you never get rid of mortgage insurance. With the conventional, there's a breaking point where the conventional mortgage insurance goes away, and you'll see that breaking point here shortly. All right, so monthly payment. Let's start with year one. What's the monthly payment on the house of 900 and how much are we paying for this again? $974,000. Under the conventional 5% down, we're paying about $8,700. FHA 5% down, $8,900. Conventional 70, almost 7,400. Well, 7,348. Almost, let's call it $7,400. So as you can see, the monthly mortgage payment is much less on the conventional side because we paid a lot more in down payment. It makes sense. Now, notice what happens to principal and interest. This is year one. Most of the amount that you're paying, most of your mortgage payment goes to pay down the interest. Very little, I know it's still a lot, but very little of the actual what you pay goes to pay down the principal. And the reason for that is because the interest gets paid off a little bit quicker with these mortgages. And you're going to see in your amortization table, while this payment, this number stays the same. And what's going to be different is the amount that goes to interest and the amount that goes to principal. As you make more and more payments, you're going to see this number that goes to principal increase, while this amount that goes to interest goes down. And this number stays the same. Again, this is just the principal and this is the interest. Principal is how much you borrowed. Interest is how much it cost you to borrow that money. And as you go down to the celebration day of 30 years later, you see that most of it went to the principal to satisfy the loan at the end of the day, to where you owe $0. But it also lets you know how much you ended up paying for that loan. All right, let's go into this right here. Taxes. This is where we went through that extensive breakdown of property taxes. Again, my estimate's going to be anywhere from $1,400 to $1,500 is the true property taxes, but I want to give you a conservative number of what you would be paying in property taxes based off of market value as opposed to assessed value. Homeowners insurance. This is a estimated monthly premium. Mortgage insurance. This is the since we did not put at least 20% down, we're paying mortgage insurance. And the HOA, this is what it comes down to per month, which again, the HOA is like $725 per year. Now, the payment's going to look different in 30 years, as you're going to see here. The payment goes down slightly for all numbers except the conventional, because you weren't paying anything beyond that from a mortgage insurance perspective. Equity, I like playing around with this slider, but at the end of the day, the easiest thing to do is just to kind of see, well, on year 17 as an example, how much will I owe? Like, how much do I own of this property? Well, in year 17, you own 37% if you would have gone with conventional 5%, 36% if you would have financed through FHA 5%, or 47% if you would have put 20% down under the conventional plan. That's what that slider tells you. But what I really want to show you with the loan details more than anything is that break-off point where you get rid of that mortgage insurance from a conventional loan. Now, this is based off of just math. This is not factoring in the appreciation of the property. So as the property appreciates and it's more and more expensive, it has more value, then you also benefit from that to where you own more of it as well. So this 10 years and 3 months is actually less, especially if you've had some high appreciation amounts like we've had in the past 5 years where properties have gone up 60% or something like that. So the mortgage insurance goes away much quicker. All right, sorry, I keep getting all these notifications. Selling and appreciation. So let's go through a scenario. One of the questions that comes up is, should I buy or should I rent? And unfortunately, we as real estate professionals, we seem to be always in buy mode. We're always in sell mode. Anytime you call us, anytime you text us and you ask, hey, should we buy? The answer is always yes. Whenever we get asked, hey, should I sell? The answer is always yes. I'm on my way with my yard sign. Thankfully, that's not me, but again, my peers do tend to operate in sell and buy mode. And I guess I get it, but at the end of the day, there's some situations where it doesn't make sense to buy. There's some situations where it doesn't make sense to sell. Some situations where it makes more sense to rent. There's so many different scenarios. So I don't see it as a black and white or a green line meets go type of a situation every single time like you see a lot on social media. So what I want to do here is break down a scenario. Let's just say we buy this house at $974 is what we're buying this property at, and in 10 years we decide to sell. we want to make that decision. Well, after 10 years, I want to see what it looks like on my exit when I sell. And I also want to compare it against if I were to just go and rent. That's the comparison that we're going to get into today. So we're going to assume that the appreciation rate is 3%. Very reasonable, very doable. The market will do this day in and day out. Let's say that the appreciation rate on average for those 10 years is 3%. Cost to sell. As we know, real estate agent commissions are negotiable. So you could pay whatever you want to pay for the cost to sell your house, plus factoring in maybe some repairs along the way, factoring in title work and all that fun stuff. Let's just say it cost you 5% to sell your house, all in. Let's just say it's 5%. As far as tax increase per year, that's something that is has gone gangbusters. So let's assume it's a 3% rise in property taxes every single year. Let's make that reasonable assumption. Homeowners insurance also continues to rise. So let's also pretend and assume that the home insurance rate is going to rise per year on average of 3%. That is our assumption. All right, so based off of that assumption, after 10 years, what does that look like? Well, after 10 years, the cost for me to live in this property, the actual cost, would have been $374,000. Here, it would have been $709,000. Here would have been $534,000. So we're taking into consideration the benefits and also the expenses. So one of the benefits is the appreciation that we gained, right? So the property went up, right? And it doesn't matter if I financed it through conventional or FHA, that appreciation is going to be there. The cost to sell, that also is going to be a fixed cost, or a cost that doesn't matter if I got that property through a conventional or an FHA loan. That expense is going to be the same. What is going to be different is my cost of the loan, how much it cost me to get into this property. Here I did 5% down, and I ended up paying about $609,000 for the loan. Here I paid $643,000. Here I paid substantially less because I put substantially more. Property taxes is going to be the same regardless of how I finance the property. Homeowners insurance, same thing. HOA, the same thing. So I'm essentially taking all of the expenses and factoring in the appreciation that I gained on that property, and I came out with the cost to live in this home for 10 years. So a comparison that you're going to want to make, again, this is linked down below, and also you're going to want to check out Win the House You Love directly as well to get this tool. You can compare it against a comparable rent that you would have paid on a property that is similar to this. So assuming that you paid, let's say, $5,600 per month with an annual increase of 3% on your rental payment, your cost to live in this same property would have been $781,000. Now that's a big number, but so is this. I'm getting I do have skin in the game. Let's be real. So if you're looking to buy or sell, let me know. But just trying to be as balanced as possible. There's still an expense when you're buying, and there's still an expense when you're selling. From the buying perspective, one of the numbers that you're going to want to factor in here is the cost for repairs. Right? With this particular property, I wouldn't really worry too much, to be completely candid with you, but things do break, things do happen, right? So with the rental part, you also have to factor in other considerations that aren't going to be included in here. But at the end of the day, if you're looking for that comparison between buying a house and renting, you see the comparison. Now, where it really starts crystallizing on in the favor of buying, to be candid, is after the 30 years after you pay off that property. You're going to see this. You would think that it would be like 3 times as much, but it's not. The reason being is because most of your loan cost has been incurred, or a good part of it has been incurred, because you're paying mostly towards interest. What you're going to see this number do, and all these numbers do, is go up, but not by 3x. What you are going to see 3x is this number down here. So if I go and I take this out to its full maturity date of 30 years, you're going to see this number not have 3x. It's $1.3 million. Over here, it's $1 million, but the rental expense, $3.2 million. So it would have cost you this much to live in the over these 30 years. right? So that is all I had for y'all, folks. Hopefully you found some value in this. Hopefully you found the one. Hopefully you found some value in our breakdown of the Prosper homes. If there's anything that I could do for you, whether you're looking to buy or sell, let us know. Our contact information is down below. The next city that we have up, I actually have another live stream coming up here in about an hour. It's going to be the salary needed to buy in Forest Hill. But we're doing these live streams pretty consistently, so make sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to see some additional breakdowns in different cities. If there's a city that we have not covered and you want to check out or have us check out in this channel, let me know in the comment section down below. Outside of that, see you on the next one.